All right, so get this. Today, we're diving deep with Evangelos Taxiarchis.
Evangelos Taxiarchis, okay.
This entrepreneur built his whole business philosophy on, get this, a tangerine tree.
The tangerine tree. I'm intrigued. I have to admit I was a little skeptical at first. Like, how do you go from fruit to business?
Right. But the way Evangelos connects the abundance in nature to success, well, it's really interesting. And we've got a lot to dig into. We've got excerpts from his story,
Oh, cool.
some marketing stuff from his companies like No Limit Emails and FireSNTP.com,
Uh-huh.
his 30-day email challenge, even some feedback from customers.
All right, so we're getting the whole picture.
The whole picture.
Yeah.
And it's a journey, let me tell you, from a tangerine farm in Greece to global businesses, and all with this unique philosophy guiding him.
So let's start at the beginning. Where did this all start?
Well, he had this aha moment. Evangelos was 13 years old picking tangerines,
Okay.
and he's struck by how much fruit this tree's producing, how easily it just gives it away.
I can kind of picture it, like those paintings with the overflowing fruit baskets.
Exactly, but in real life, some branches were even breaking from all those tangerines.
Wow.
And then he notices the fruit on the ground. It's not wasted. It feeds the soil, the insects. It's all part of this cycle. Evangelos, he sees this as this powerful symbol of abundance. You know, generosity, like nature's just giving. It was a light bulb moment for him. Nature doesn't hold back. It gives freely. And from that observation, he comes up with what he calls his C.P.R.D.R principle.
C.P.R.D.R.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It stands for consistency, persistence, reproduction, distribution, recycle.
Okay, I'm following.
It becomes his guiding philosophy. And you think about it, it's everywhere in nature. Plants, they just keep growing, right? They push through any obstacle, they reproduce, they spread their seeds, it just keeps going.
It's like a blueprint for success built right into the natural world.
And what's cool is how Evangelos applies each of these principles to his actual businesses. So with email marketing, for example, he's always talking about creating valuable content consistently
Makes sense. Got to stay top of mind.
and reaching out to your audience persistently.
Right, building that relationship.
And then growing an email list, he sees that as reproduction. Sending emails is distribution, and analyzing and refining those campaigns, that's the recycling.
So it's not just a fancy acronym, it's like a whole system.
Exactly. It helps you create something that's self-sustaining. But before we get into all that, let's talk about Evangelos himself for a minute. So at 15, picture this. He leaves home for Italy. Barely speaks the language, almost no money.
Bold move.
All he has is this fascination with people.
Wow.
Yeah, and you can already see those principles at work, right? He's persistent, lands in Italy, starts looking for any job he can find, even creates one for himself, sweeping outside this bakery.
He made his own opportunity.
And he ends up staying there for 8 months. Then, at 19, he takes off for England. This time, it's the English language that he's drawn to. Lands at Heathrow Airport with, get this, only 20 pounds in his pocket.
Whoa! Talk about a leap of faith.
Right. I mean, these early stories tell you a lot about him. The risk-taking, the adapting, the pure hustle to get what he wants. Do you think those traits are just essential for anyone who wants to be an entrepreneur?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. That fearlessness, that drive, it seems like it laid the groundwork for everything he did later on.
Totally. So how does this whole tangerine-inspired philosophy play out in the world of, well, email marketing?
So Evangelos, he got pretty frustrated with those typical email service providers.
The ESPs?
Yeah, those. The limits, the high costs. You can't send as many emails as you want. It was holding him back.
Yeah, those restrictions can be a pain.
Big time. So that's where no limit emails comes in. I mean, the name says it all.
No limits.
Right, like he took that abundance idea and applied it directly to email marketing. You can send as much as you want. You get a dedicated IP address, free hosting, and all that for way less than the big guys, like your MailChimps and Get Responses.
Yeah, it's pretty disruptive when you think about how pricey those platforms can be.
Absolutely. And get this, he even includes a live communication tool right in No Limit emails. It's called Jitsi Meet.
Titsy meat. Okay. What's that like?
It's basically like having Zoom, but without the time limits and all those privacy worries.
Oh, interesting.
He uses it for live support, question and answer sessions, even just to build community with his customers. That kind of accessibility is pretty rare these days.
It really shows he's invested in their success, not just making a quick buck.
Exactly.
So what about the customer experience overall? Does that tangerine philosophy, does it carry over to how he treats his customers?
Definitely. All those testimonials we found, they highlight this supportive community vibe. People love how responsive he is, the advice he gives. Like, he genuinely cares about their success.
So it's less transactional, more about building something together.
That's the sense I get. It seems like that tangerine tree lesson really stuck with him, and it's influencing every part of his business.
Welcome back. Last time we were talking about that community that Evangelos built around no-limit emails. Yeah, the people are a big part of it for sure.
Right, but let's dive a little deeper into his overall marketing approach, beyond just the tech stuff.
Yeah, okay, because having the tools is one thing, but knowing how to actually use them, the strategy, the philosophy behind it all, that's just as important.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And Evangelos is really big on understanding what your customer actually wants, what they need.
Okay.
It's all about building those genuine relationships, not just hitting them with sales pitches left and right.
Right. Building that trust.
Exactly. Provide value, offer good advice, send personalized messages. That's what he emphasizes.
So it's about making that real connection, not just being another name on a list.
Exactly. It all comes back to that C.P.R.D.R principle we talked about. Remember distribution. It's not just about sending out a zillion emails. It's about getting the right message to the right people at the right time.
Right message, right time, and consistently.
Couldn't forget that. He also talks a lot about storytelling and marketing. Using his own experiences to connect with his audience on a deeper level.
Yeah, making it personal. Do you think that's even more important now in this digital age?
Absolutely. Evangelos is a natural storyteller, and he shares both his challenges and triumphs. It makes him relatable.
Yeah, you feel like you know him.
And he also highlights stories from his clients, how no-limit emails has helped their businesses. It's not just him saying, hey, this works. It's real people sharing their successes.
That's powerful. Real proof.
Right. It adds a layer of authenticity, a sense of social proof. It's not just selling a product. It's more like an invitation to join a movement.
Like you're part of something bigger.
Exactly. And that resonates with people. They see his genuine enthusiasm, his belief in what he's doing. It's contagious.
It's inspiring, that's for sure. Now let's switch gears a bit. What about his leadership style? Is it as unconventional as his marketing?
Oh, it's definitely unique. He talks about balancing leadership with creativity, creating an environment where his team can innovate and, really thrive.
Sounds pretty different from the typical boss mentality.
Right. It's not about being a dictator. It's about empowering people to do their best work.
That's refreshing, especially in the startup world where things can get so intense.
Yeah. He also stresses the importance of building a strong team. He believes in surrounding himself with talented people who share his vision, who are passionate about what they do.
Finding the right people, that's key.
Absolutely. Nurturing their talents, empowering them to take ownership. But, he's also honest about the potential downsides of that entrepreneurial hustle.
Yeah, it's not all sunshine and roses.
He talks about the dangers of burnout, how important it is to prioritize well-being, which honestly a lot of leaders forget about.
It's easy to get caught up in the grind.
Yeah. He encourages entrepreneurs to develop good time management habits, set boundaries, make time for self-care. He really emphasizes rest and rejuvenation, not just for yourself, but for your team too. It's a very holistic view of leadership.
Yeah, it's not just about profits, it's about people. Now, looking ahead, what does Evangelos think about the future of marketing? Specifically, the growing role of AI.
AI. Some people are thrilled about it, others are a little freaked out.
Right. What's his take?
Well, he sees AI as a tool. Like any tool, it can be used for good or bad,
Makes sense.
He knows AI can automate tasks, free up time for more strategic thinking.
Yeah, that's the hope, right? Make things easier.
But he also brings up those ethical questions, which is important.
It's easy to get caught up in the shiny new thing and forget about the potential consequences.
Exactly. Evangelos is all about using AI responsibly. It should help us, not replace us. He sees a future where AI supports marketers, makes them better, but that human touch, that's still essential.
Striking that balance, that's the key.
He's got a point. And for Evangelos, that human element, it's about connection, community, creating a business that's profitable, sure, but also has a purpose.
Purpose-driven, I like that.
Right. And that brings us to another key theme, constant learning. With marketing changing so fast, how does he stay ahead?
Yeah, good question.
He's always learning, always curious, exploring new trends. He encourages his audience to have that growth mindset, to never stop learning. It's a journey, not a destination.
Always evolving.
Right. And he's always sharing that journey, giving people the resources and support they need to succeed, whether it's his 30-day email challenge, his YouTube channel, or just being active in online communities.
He is always giving back.
Exactly. So we've talked about a lot. Marketing, leadership, technology, the importance of learning. What are some of the key takeaways for you?
That stands out.
Well, for me, it's the power of his philosophy, that C.P.R.D.R principle. It's not just for business, it's for life. And to see how he embodies those principles in everything he does, it's inspiring.
He's walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Exactly. And that's what makes his message so powerful.
All right, welcome back to the final part of our deep dive with Evangelos Taxiarchis.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
We've talked about his philosophy, his unique approach to marketing, his leadership style.
It's all connected.
And now it's time to see how those principles, how they actually play out in the real world, the results.
Right, because it's one thing to have a philosophy, but does it actually work?
Exactly. And I think what's fascinating about Evangelos is he takes these big ideas, these high-level concepts, and he turns them into tactics, into things you can actually do.
Actionable steps, not just theory.
He doesn't just talk about abundance, he shows you how to create it in your own business.
No.
So let's get specific. What are some of those email marketing tactics that he's known for?
Well, one of the big ones is segmentation.
Yeah.
He's always talking about how important it is to not treat your email list like it's one giant blob.
Okay, so not just blasting the same message to everyone.
Right, exactly. It's about dividing your audience into smaller groups, segments, based on their interests, their demographics, their past behavior.
So tailoring the message.
Exactly. Think of it like a party. If you try to have the same conversation with every single person there, it's going to be pretty awkward.
Yeah, a lot of small talk.
Right. But if you can find groups of people who share similar interests, then the conversation becomes much more engaging, much more meaningful.
That's a great analogy. So with email marketing, you're saying segmentation allows you to, deliver the right message to the right people at the right time.
Precisely. Which means they're more likely to open it, read it, and actually engage with your emails.
So how do you actually do that? I mean, it sounds kind of complicated.
Well, that's where automation comes in. Evangelos is a big fan of using automation tools like, MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, things like that. They can help you streamline your whole email process.
Okay, but he's not just talking about setting up a bunch of generic autoresponders, right?
No. It's about being strategic with your automation. Using these tools to, enhance your human touch, not replace it.
So finding that sweet spot where technology helps you be more efficient, but you're not losing that personal connection.
Exactly. He gives some really cool examples of how you can use automation to personalize your emails, send timely follow-ups, nurture leads through your sales funnel.
Speaking of sales funnels, Evangelos, he has some pretty strong opinions about how to build those, doesn't he?
He does. He breaks down the whole process into stages.
Yeah.
Capturing attention, building trust, addressing objections, and finally closing the deal.
It's a whole system.
It is. But it all starts with understanding your customer, right?
Knowing who you're talking to.
Exactly. You got to know their needs, their pain points, what motivates them. Only then can you create a funnel that really speaks to them.
He also talks a lot about the importance of testing, of refining your funnel, always trying to improve it.
That's that C.P.R.D.R principle again. Consistency, persistence, reproduction, distribution, recycle. You have to constantly be analyzing your results, making adjustments, optimizing your approach. It's a mindset of continuous improvement.
Always striving to be better.
Exactly.
Now, let's talk about innovation for a minute. Evangelos seems to always be exploring new trends, new technologies. He's always pushing the boundaries of what's possible in marketing.
Oh, yeah, he's not afraid to experiment. He talks about the potential of AI in email marketing, for example. But he's also aware of the potential downsides.
Right, so he's not one of those AI is going to solve all our problems kind of guys.
No, he sees technology as a tool that should enhance human capabilities, not replace them.
So AI can help us be more creative, more efficient.
But it's still us, the humans, who need to guide the process to make sure it's being used ethically.
That's an important point. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of Evangelos Taxiarchis, what are some key takeaways you hope our listeners will walk away with?
Well, I think the biggest one is that success, whether in business or in life, it's not about following a set of rules or formulas.
Okay.
It's about finding what works for you, what aligns with your values. It's about making a real impact on the world.
That's powerful.
And Evangelos, he's shown us that it's possible to build a successful business that's both profitable and purpose-driven.
He's leading by example.
He really is. He's challenged us to rethink what success even means. And he's given us this framework, the C.P.R.D.R principle, that we can use to guide our own journeys. So if you're feeling stuck, if you're looking for a fresh perspective, if you're ready to create something truly extraordinary, Take inspiration from Evangelos.
Embrace abundance.
Prioritize relationships. Never stop learning. And always be curious. You never know, maybe you'll be the next Evangelos, inspiring others with your vision and your passion.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive with Evangelos Taxiarchis. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deeper.